Good morning from Talladega, Alabama. Happy with us for NASCAR Xfinity Series qualifying on Fox Sports 1. With Michael Waltrip and Phil Parsons, I'm Adam Alexander. What a gorgeous weekend we've got here in central Alabama. A bit cool this morning, 63 right now. I'm going to get up in the mid to upper 70s as the day continues. We're here at Talladega, and the rules for qualifying, it's kind of like old school single car qualifying with a new twist.
It is a new twist. Actually, we're only going to get one lap. These guys are going to take off from pit road, try to get up to speed as quick as they can, and only get one timed lap here, and that's going to set this field.
That means when you leave pit road, Adam, you better be rolling.
An adjustment for the drivers as well. Let's hear from him now. To Vince Welch.
Elliott Sadler won this race 1 year ago, now getting ready for qualifying. A little different qualifying than what we've done throughout the course of the season. How do you approach what we're about to do here?
Well, I've done this at Talladega for many years, this style of qualifying, so I like it. I think it's a lot safer for our owners, and, we're not going to tear up, half as much stuff doing it this way. And one thing about Talladega, where you qualify is where it is. You just get a different pit selection, but it all comes down to the race. Our one main financial Ford was really fast yesterday in the draft, so we got a good car, and just got to stay out of trouble, miss the couple big ones that we always have here, and hopefully be there at the end.
The one car getting ready for single car qualifying. Elliott Sadler, the defending race winner.
Well, Regan Smith went to victory lane here in 2013, the only win for Junior Motorsports, but a little bit different qualifying format here. What do you expect today?
I don't know. That's why I came out here early. I didn't figure I had to be out here for a little while, but I at least wanted to watch the cars, see if there was anything anybody could do to find a little extra speed or just how the whole thing flowed. I think it's going to definitely look more like what we've been accustomed to up until the past couple of years with the single cars by yourself on the racetrack, obviously. I don't anticipate us being able to do anything as, in the cars to help them go any faster. So it's going to be for the teams right now like we all wanted. I commend NASCAR for making this change. The other format works good everywhere else that we go. It was difficult on these speedways, and I know we got a fast Hellman Chevy. I'm excited to get it racing and get into the race, and if we can start up front, great. If not, we're going to work hard to get it up front.
All right, Regan Smith looking for his first pole here at Talladega.
Thank you, Jamie. And the first car is on track. That will be Harrison Rhodes out of the JD Motorsports stables, coming off a 22nd place finish last week at Richmond.
And Harrison did exactly what we're going to see everybody do. NASCAR's allowed these cars and drivers to go straight up on the racetrack. Normally in the race you have to stay below the yellow line until you get to turn 2. They're going to be able to drive straight up on the racetrack, and then you want to make this racetrack as big as you can make it. He's going to run high down here in 3 and 4 as well, and then when you take the green flag here at the start finish line way down towards turn 1, then you'll drive back down to the bottom and run the yellow line all the way around the racetrack.
Yeah, you might cut through the tri-oval, diving down to the bottom, trying to use that slight elevation change to gain even more momentum.
Let's go to Jamie, who's with Eric Jones.
This guy's been on a roll lately. Already has 3 poles in the Xfinity Series this year. So what is the key in your mind to getting the pole here with this style of qualifying?
Yeah, it's not easy like this, but, we really just have to have a good car without the aid of being able to draft anymore in this. It's just a matter of having a good car. So we'll see. Our Sport Clips Camry has been pretty fast, but I don't know. I've never been around for super speedway qualifying single like this, so be a different deal for me. But we'll just go out and try to run the best lap that we can, and hopefully we make the top 12 and go from there.
It's going to be fun to watch the 20 car, Adam.
It's different for Eric, but it's different for all of us, Jamie, because as Harrison Rhodes came through the tri-oval, you heard an engine fire. That was Bobby Gearhart, second in line, and all these cars going out decided in order by a random draw. Gearhart released as Rhodes went past the start-finish line. So we're going to have 2 cars on track at a time, a way to speed up this single-car qualifying.
And you saw, Phil, Rhodes on the bottom of the racetrack underneath the yellow line on the apron in qualifying. That's perfectly legal in qualifying. You can go anywhere you want in this racetrack. You'll see a lot of the drivers elect to use that shortcut. There's a trade-off there, though. It's a little bit rougher down there. You have to transition from one degree of banking to another. That could be turn out hurting you more than it helps you. Depends on how you do it. But we'll see a little bit of both, I believe.
Look at Bobby Gearhart here yesterday, competing in the ARCA Racing Series and trying to make his first Xfinity start of 2015.
Bobby, a multi-time winner in the ARCA Racing Series at these type of racetracks. He's won once here, but 8 times in the ARCA race at Daytona.
there's a bit of a trade-off as well, Adam, when you really want to hug that yellow line. You want that left front corner to be right on that yellow line. But, again, if you get too low and you scrape your splitter on the bottom of the racetrack, that hurts you as well. So it seems like there's always a delicate balance when you come to Daytona and Talladega. The transition there could slow you down a little bit, but the shorter course could speed you up.
But, you know, we were listening to Regan Smith earlier, and I think this qualifying format really puts this back into the hands of the guys at the shop and the guys that come to the racetrack with these cars. That if the driver gets up through the gears well, he runs high, gets his momentum built up, doesn't turn the steering wheel much, then he's done his job. The guys back at the shop are the ones that really are responsible for how well you qualify here.
Two cars have recorded a lap in qualifying. Harrison Rhodes went first. He's the quickest, 54.76. Bobby Gearhart, a 54.85. And here's a look at Ty Dillon, who unofficially was one of the quicker cars we saw yesterday when it comes to single car runs. And the reason we say unofficially is obviously our speed charts are going to show those guys that were in the draft at the top. But you guys worked very hard to make sure and understand who we needed to keep an eye on today.
Yeah, this car could go around here in somewhere around 51 seconds. I mean, he has got a really fast car. Talking to his dad last night, Mike Dillon, I said, I'll make you a friendly wager, Mike. You put 2 of those 4 RCR cars in the front 4. And he was reluctant to bet that. I don't think he wanted to jinx himself, but I'm telling you, these guys are fast. 53.09.
Yeah, that's a fast lap. We unofficially had him at about a 52.90 yesterday, but that's, you know, when the other cars on the racetrack, even you try to get a clean lap, there's always a little air stirring. That's a pretty darn good lap right there.
Be a good baseline here because the Roush Fenway cars also were quick yesterday. Darrell Wallace Jr., the first of those to hit the track for qualifying here at Talladega.
What a nice little hot rod that looks like with SpongeBob riding along with Darrell Wallace Jr. And you can talk about the driver running the line that you want him to and getting through the gears. The team is another huge, like you said, Phil, they're a huge part of the process here today. How that car rides down the straightaway. You can see Bubba's nose right down on the ground, just like you'd hope it to be. A lot of power under the hood, obviously. These single car runs is just a contest for the guys at the shop to see who built the fastest car.
Putting in perspective how good the lap was for Ty Dillon, you can see how Darrell is tracking 0.3 of a second off of that lap turn by Ty Dillon.
And both of these drivers, Bubba Wallace as well as Ty Dillon, elected not to go down on the apron. So it's that trade-off, and they didn't feel like it was worth it, like you were talking about, Michael.
How about that SpongeBob paint scheme this weekend for Bubba Wallace?
It looks good. He was enjoying it yesterday, too.
Yes, he was. I wonder if he ever got that driver's suit he was looking for.
How long has SpongeBob been around?
They just had an anniversary.
Yeah, I can remember him forever.
Yeah.
And his buddy Patrick.
Yesterday was their anniversary. May 1st, 1999, the first episode aired.
Hey, wow. Speaking of anniversaries and that kind of thing, today, Kyle Busch's birthday. So if Kyle's watching at home, happy birthday to you, Rowdy.
And you know he is. Happy birthday,
I'm
Kyle.
Sure he doesn't miss.
Itching to get back in a race car.
Yes, he is.
I can guarantee you that.
Hopefully it won't be too long either.
From one Roush Fenway car to another, here's Elliott Sadler. Vince talked to him a moment ago. Defending race winner one season ago, driving for Joe Gibbs this weekend, trying to get the cat in the hat to victory lane. Elliott Sadler through the tri-oval and at the start-finish line. Going to move up to third behind Bubba Wallace, 53.574. We said happy birthday to Kyle Busch. Boris Said driving the 54 this weekend. Let's hear from him down to Vince.
Boris Said is in the 54 this week for the first of 7 races in this machine. How are the nerves? It's been a while for you to be back in the Xfinity Series at a plate track. Anxious, anxiety, nervous? How's your emotion?
I mean, for sure you're a little nervous. I haven't been on one in 8 years, but I mean, to be in a car this good, the Monster Energy Toyota with JGR, I mean, it's a dream come true for any driver, so especially an old one. So, you know, I threw a few cans of Monster in there, so hopefully that'll give me a little extra speed for the race, and I didn't get a good finish, but really looking forward to those road races later in the year.
Good to see Boris Said back in the Xfinity Series.
It is, Vince, and I would guess he'll be someone we'll talk about a lot today when we have our broadcast on Fox, 2:30 Eastern Time. Jeff Gordon going to be up here in the booth with us.
You'll talk about everybody a lot.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
With this kind of race here
Talladega?
today. Yes.
including Eric Almirola, who's our 6th car out in qualifying. Top 10 run for them at Daytona earlier this season, and may have done better if not for an incident on the final lap. He is 4th right now of those 6 cars that have been on track. Lap for him, 53.829 seconds.
Well, this format's going fast, isn't it?
Yeah, we're getting these guys logged in. Ryan Reed, huge win at Daytona. First win, and to get it at Daytona, and on a last lap pass, nonetheless, of Brad Keselowski. What an amazing job that kid did. He's got his season jump started.
Being pushed by his teammate Chris Buescher.
Yeah, just outside the top 5 in points. He's 8th in points right now, but he's only 9 points out of 5th.
Got a good lap going there, Phil. It looks like he's just consistently losing time to Dillon. Just adds up, doesn't it? Sure does. You can't stop time.
Those hundredths of a second just keep adding together to it. But we would expect him to be comparable to what his teammates were. We have Bubba Wallace right now as 2nd at a 53.47. Elliott Sadler is 3rd, 1/10 of a second slower than that. So we would assume that Ryan Reed's going to be right in that group somewhere.
Ryan Reed through the trioval at the start-finish line. He's 3rd of the 7 cars that have been out in qualifying. He's made his run in qualifying. He is currently 8th quick of those drivers that have been on track. Ross Chastain, the most recent to get the green flag. He will complete his lap right now. That number 4 Chevrolet from JD Motorsports jumps in front of Joey Gay, so he is now 8 of the 9 cars that have made a run in qualifying, and the next vehicle to go under the green flag will be John West Townley in the 25. Now, we do have 2 rounds of qualifying, 45 cars here this weekend. The opening round of qualifying will set who's in the field and the lineup from 13th to 40th. The top 12 move on after a 10-minute break to run for the pole. Let's go to Jamie.
Well, this is going to be Brennan Poole's first ever restrictor plate race in an Xfinity car. And I saw you talking to Joey Logano there for a little bit. What kind of advice did he give you?
Oh, well, I mean, it's tough when you're a rookie. I've never ran a restrictor plate race before in Xfinity. So I was just trying to talk to him a little bit about some of my concerns and just try to get the best info I can. And Joey's one of those guys. He's so good, so talented, had a lot of good things to say. So just talking about when to push people, how to push them, where I kind of needed to be, watch out for big runs, and being a rookie, just try to, tag along and follow guys forward and just work my way forward all day and try to stay up front and race with everybody. Don't lag back, race so that you can learn. So a lot of good things to say.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Adam.
Thank you, Jamie. We'll see Brennan Poole on track in a moment. John West Townley completing his opening round qualifying run. He's 6th of the 10 cars that have been out. Here's a look at our defending champion, Chase Elliott.
How fun is it to see a number 9 with a Elliott behind the wheel here at Talladega?
I remember that one time back when
85.
Bill, Bill made up 2 laps under green, which was unheard of.
I stood on a motorhome in the infield and watched, and I would go, well, darn, I think he's going to, oh, there's one of them he made up. The yellow flag never waved. He drove all the way around, made another one up. Can you imagine that?
It was unbelievable performance.
In a day when there was no wave around or no free pass.
There were no cautions.
Chase trying to pick up his program when it comes to restrictor plate racing. They have struggled in this category. 8 career finishes outside the top 10. 4 of them coming at either Daytona or Talladega, and lot of bad luck for this team when it comes to these kinds of races.
He's run well, just hasn't had the finishes to go with it.
Let's see where he qualifies. At the start-finish line, Chase Elliott 5th of the 11 cars that have been on track. To Vince Welsh.
Last time we were at a restrictor plate race, it was Daytona, and this man, Austin Dillon, was on the pole for that one. Is there anything you can employ as a driver to make your car go faster at a plate qualifying session?
I think just doing my job, hit my shifts, run a really tight line down there against the yellow line, and the guys put a lot of effort into it, so I think we'll have a good run.
Look forward to it in the 33, Austin Dillon.
Vince, here's another guy to keep an eye on today. As we always talk about the opportunity to pull an upset at Daytona or Talladega, Jeremy Clements, a race team that I guess you would say doesn't have the funding of some of the other clubs in the garage area, but certainly capable when it comes to restrictor plate racing, and good to see Conquest Completion Services on his Chevrolet this weekend.
Yeah, Jeremy had a top 10 in this race here a couple years ago, so he can certainly get it done.
And a great run at Daytona last summer for the 51 team. Drops down on the apron of the racetrack like we've seen so many do through the tri-oval. He'll be our 12th car to record time. He goes to 10th on the board. Ty Dillon, Darrell Wallace Jr., Ryan Reed, Elliott Sadler, Chase Elliott, the top 5 in qualifying here at Talladega. In the 8th position is Blake Cook in the leaf filter Toyota. He qualified while we were away.
Mike Bliss down into turn 1, just finishing his lap. He comes across the line as the 8th fastest driver so far. This is another guy, when they throw the green flag this afternoon, Phil, he'll wander up toward the front at some point during this event.
Yes, he will, and has some teammates too at TriStar Motorsports. Blake Cook, one of his teammates, that he just edged by 1 spot.
It's got to make you proud as the owner. You got 2 cars and they're 2,000ths of a second apart.
How is that even possible?
I don't see how it is, but we see it over and over again. Look at those Roush Fenway cars. They're stacked right together as well.
You see now lower left of your screen, that's compared to Jeremy Clements. We're going to transfer 12 into the second round of qualifying, so that's Chad Boat's time relative to Jeremy Clements' time.
Looking pretty good right now. Chad Boat hasn't made a start since Daytona. Ran in the season opener. Finished in the 36th position.
He's on the apron. We've seen maybe 50-50 guys hitting the apron, guys staying on the racetrack. I'm trying to watch this qualifying session as part of this coverage and report to the folks at home what we're seeing and see which way I'm going to go when I get there.
You got a bit of an ulterior motive there, don't you?
There's a defining moment when you come off turn 4. You got to decide which way you're going to go. And
what are you going to do? I mean, tell us now.
I think staying on the road is the best way.
Gotcha.
Because of the rough transition, the bumpy apron through the tri-oval. I just think steady and smooth and just stay on the track is the fastest way.
You know, we're able to see what the warm-up lap is because these guys leave pit road, cross the start-finish line, and then when they get back to take the green, we can see what that lap is. That was a very fast lap. Get up to speed lap by Boris Said. That was the second fastest get up to speed lap to Ty Dillon's.
And you can see how that's translating. He's almost a second. Is going to be a second ahead of Gerhardt for that 12th spot, which is going to put him right near the front. Second spot, I think.
You guys talk about teammates and how that maybe equates from one to the other. This will be a good indication of what we'll see later out of Eric Jones and Daniel Suarez out of the Joe Gibbs camp. Boris Said staying above the yellow line like you guys talked about at the line. Nice prediction, Michael. Boris Said is second behind Ty Dillon. 17 cars have now made a run in the opening round of qualifying at Talladega for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Most recent to do so, the 13 of Mark Thompson, looking to make his first start of the year. He is 12th and on the bubble of those drivers trying to advance on to round 2, and he will stay there. Mario Gosselin becomes the 18th driver to take time. He is 13th, and we know he will not advance.
Let's look at this. The line that Austin Dillon takes coming through the tri-oval. We talked about how you'd want to sweep down off of the wall early so you can use the elevation change to even pick up any momentum at all. These guys, they're so into every detail in this run, Adam. You heard Austin Dillon saying in the interview, he's got to be precise. He's got to hold a steady wheel. He's got to do his job, and he feels like he can get the pole. Now, doing his job meant that he needed to run down the hill through the tri-oval to gain momentum.
We talk about the get up to speed lap, and if that means anything, we knew Boris Said had a good get up to speed lap, and that equated to a second place run here. This is the fastest get up to speed lap that we've seen so far, even faster than his brother Ty.
And it looks good on the tracker, comparing what he was doing, what Boris Said did. Looking at him compared to 12th and how fast they would be in relation to the guy that's currently out front. Looks awfully fast at the line. Austin Dillon goes to the top. First to go in the 52-second bracket, 52.936 for the 33.
And when you come to the big tracks, Austin Dillon has won the pole in his last 2 starts in plate races. So this is a guy you knew would be fast for qualifying, and he'll be strong when they throw the green flag this afternoon. And I don't know what to expect out of this young man. He could win the race. That job he did at Bristol, running second, and just the progress he's made all year long. I'm excited to watch Daniel Suarez this afternoon. He had a rough go of it down in Daytona. couple of crashes, but he's much more experienced now. I think much more confident, especially after some of the runs that he's had. So he's going to be fun to watch.
One thing we have to remember, too, there are 45 cars here attempting to qualify for these 40 positions. We will take the fastest 33 on time. Obviously, 12 are going to transfer to the second round. But we're going to set the field here in this first round. A lot of people are really on the edge of their seat here trying to get in this show.
You see where Suarez is tracking now in relation to the fastest time of the day, and that being Austin Dillon. Off of that pace, he's already got a teammate inside the top 3. For Suarez, he is 5th of the 20 cars that have been on track in qualifying. Jamie?
Well, Adam, we had one practice session all weekend long, and it was a 2.5-hour one yesterday. Joey Logano used most of that. Did you get a good indication of what kind of speed you're going to have here for qualifying?
I think so. It just depends how much more everyone was holding back. You know, we made a pretty solid mock run. We had brakes pulled back and all that to see what we really had. So I'm not sure we're going to pick up much more from what we had in practice at the discount tire Ford, but it definitely looks like the 3 and the 33 got a lot of speed. I'm not sure we have anything for that, but you never know. We'll wait and see, and you know, get a clean read. It's kind of cool to see what we got. It's been a couple years since we've been able to stack up and really see what we got here, so it'll be kind of fun to see where the speed's at.
And Joey Logano never had a pole here at Talladega. Vince?
Ty Dillon was on top of the speed chart, and he was watching the screen very closely as his brother Austin went around the oval. I know teammates, but you guys still got to have a little brotherly competition, don't you, when you watch?
I guess so. I don't like it when he's faster. No, it's pretty cool right now. Our cars are really fast. Our Bass Pro Chevy, we had a lot of speed, and so does his Dream Chevy. So it's pretty cool to. Hopefully we'll have brothers on the front row. We have really fast race cars. Really proud of everybody at RCR and ECR for putting together such awesome cars. We were really good in Daytona, and hopefully we can start on the front row and lead a lot of laps and win this race for our guys.
Yeah, Dillon brothers on the front row. That'd be pretty cool. Ty Dillon, he's the current points leader.
And now, Vince, we're going to get a chance to see how their teammate matches up. Brian Scott, the 3rd driver of the 4 RCR drivers that have made a run here in qualifying, on track now.
Totally expect this car to be fast as well. All those cars that come out of RCR, Welcome North Carolina, are fast here.
And they have been in the history of the sport. Every time RCR comes to Daytona and Talladega, you know they're going to be a team you have to watch. And this qualifying so far is certainly another example of that.
And the tracker for Brian Scott takes us back to see how he's doing in comparison to his teammate and the man who's quickest right now, Austin Dillon. The lap for Austin, you see it there, 52.936. Only guy to go sub 53.
I think we're going to slot him in about 3rd.
We are.
You guys are good.
That's RCR 1, 2, 3. There's one to go. Think he'll join his buddies up there, Phil?
I think he will. Brendan Gaughan will do it.
Brian Scott completes his run. Here comes Landon Castle, 25-year-old out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, coming off a top 10 finish last week at Richmond. And you know, when you look at his resume here at Talladega recently, doesn't matter. Sprint Cup Xfinity Series been pretty strong.
Certainly has had a top 5 here last fall in the Sprint Cup race, and what a great run. You mentioned the top 10 last week at Richmond. What a great run for Landon and JD Motorsports.
And he was fast in his Cup car too up there. I mean, that was a solid weekend for that young man, and he just continues to overachieve, gets everything out of his equipment that he possibly can, and he'll be a factor this afternoon.
He's one of those guys that beats the cars he is supposed to beat, and many times beats some of the cars maybe he shouldn't be competing with on a weekly basis.
Well, you don't finish in the top 10 like he did at Richmond without beating some very good cars, and he did that.
You always look at who finishes behind him, and it puts into perspective what a great run it was. Landon now 18th of the 23 cars that have made a run in qualifying. Again, the top 12 advance. After a 10-minute break, right now the bubble man is John West Townley. Here comes the last of the drivers from the Roush Fenway organization. Chris Buescher, runner-up in this race 1 year ago, and runner-up earlier this season at Daytona behind his teammate Ryan Reed.
You talk about Landon slotting in 18th. He's a contender for this win this
afternoon.
Yeah.
Don't you love that?
Absolutely.
Because of his experience, his knowledge of how to draft. The same thing with Jeremy Clements back there. He's currently 21st. Won't be surprised to see 10, 15 laps into this race, those two could be leading.
Well, and right behind him, Ross Chastain. As you go down the board, Chastain, a top 10 at Daytona. He's had experience here, too.
Only problem is, Adam, they all can't be leading, Tim. But you're exactly right.
We can be 5 wide, but we can't be 32 wide at the start-finish line.
But that's why you got to tune in and watch this show. It's just amazing to watch guys charge to the front.
Pretty good day so far for the Roush Fenway cars in qualifying. Let's see what Chris Buescher does. Enters the weekend 3rd in points. Right now he is 9th. 24 cars have made a run in qualifying here at Talladega. 25th car out in qualifying for the NASCAR Xfinity Series here at Talladega. You see here, 16th is where he was, and slotting in right behind him, Ryan Sieg, 17th in that 39.
Uncle Bob right behind the 40 car, huh?
Strong run for Derek White. That's a
real good.
Yeah.
Good performance for that team.
Here's Dakota Armstrong, 2nd year full-time, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and he's in the green as he comes off the turn.
Had an 11th place finish at Daytona in February.
Looks like he's going to bump well into the top 10.
Right now, Jeffrey Earnhardt, you see here, 12th position on the bubble. And it looks like he's going to move off the bubble and will not advance because it's Dakota Armstrong who goes to 10th.
Well into the top 10.
Jamie?
And Brendan Gaughan's best start this year was 4th, and that came at our last plate race at Daytona. So what's your feeling about your speed for today?
Well, I'd love to say that, you know, it's all driver here at Talladega with the RCR front 3 right now. But I really would be hard-pressed to pull that one off. ECR gives great power. RCR, our aero department, does a great job. And right now we got 1, 2, 3, and I hope I don't screw it up. Hopefully we can at least keep that RCR trend going.
Yes, you want to keep it going. And Adam, one little fact about RCR here, they're always a threat. They've never won a race here at Talladega in the Xfinity Series.
Isn't that amazing, Jamie, when you consider how fast their cars have always been here and the success they've had at the Sprint Cup level?
And the drivers they've had here, the Kevin Harvicks and the Clint Bowyers and the people like that.
I talked to Brendan last night, and I complimented him on his enthusiasm and how much fun it is when our Fox Sports cameras come looking for him, and the way he's able to convey to the folks just how much fun it is to be a race car driver. And he said this weekend's going to be even more fun. He thinks he can win this race.
And he just doesn't show that enthusiasm when the cameras are around. It's a full-time thing for Brendan Gaughan as you look at Benny Gordon, who makes his run, 17th on the board for him.
That's a pretty good run for Benny. He just, I think he just purchased that equipment from the Berry Hills, who ran full-time last year, and this is his first attempt.
So Eric McClure is on track. Eric Almirola is on the bubble. You guys surprised at all that Almirola is there? I would have thought he would have been maybe up a little bit higher and had a chance to advance as a part of our top 12, and it looks like that's going to be tough at this stage.
Look at the cars he's around, though. You've got Chase Elliott just ahead of him, Dakota Armstrong, strong team, and then the Roush Fenway Brigade just ahead as well. So it's getting tougher and tougher to be a part of that exclusive top 12, Adam.
Which is good for us when it comes to the race later today, because that means we're going to have some guys starting deeper in the field that we know are going to be a part of the equation when it comes time to throw the checker. Eric McClure to the line. He is 23rd of the 29 cars that have made a lap at Talladega. One of 45 cars have now made a run in the opening round of qualifying here at Talladega Superspeedway. One of the most recent, J.J. Yaley, put his Toyota in the 19th position. And just wrapping up his run, David Starr, who goes 13th for TriStar Motorsports.
Narrowly misses the top 12. Kenny Wallace is taken to the track. This car, this team, Kenny Wallace behind the wheel. I'm looking forward to watching him this afternoon as well. I think he'll be a real contender.
There's a third entry from the JGL stables, and originally scheduled for Mike Wallace to come here and drive the car. Mike drove it at Daytona, but Mike had triple bypass surgery here a couple of weeks ago. Doing well, but unable to come here and race. So Kenny's going to leave his pre-race duties on Fox later and climb behind the wheel.
And this car doesn't have a whole lot of points. It doesn't run full time, so he needs to get in on time. He needs to make the top 33 here. Let's see where he slots in. 16th. I think he's looking pretty good, don't you?
I do. Safe for Kenny.
What do you say, Vince?
Well, RCR flexing that muscle, as you guys have talked about, 1, 2, 3 on the speed chart. Brian Scott currently sitting in that 3rd spot. Is there anything you can save for this qualifying run the way you do at some of the other tracks in the early runs?
Well, as a driver, no. Mechanically, with some of the things that they do with the tape on the front end, or how hot they heat up the oil pressure or oil temperature, they can save a little bit, but not a whole lot. You know, this is just really a testament to everybody at ECR, Richie Gilmore, Danny Lawrence, Dysinger, all those guys have really produced great horsepower, and it's showing up here. You know, this qualifying, this old format that we've gone back to is really a testament to the guys at the shop, the body shop, and all the work that they do. So proud of everybody at RCR, ECR, and I'm just following along on my fan vision, looking. Our teammates are a little faster than us. I think that 3 must be a little bit more aerodynamic. It must slip through the air a little better, but pretty good. Looking forward to seeing our teammate Brendan Gaughan go, and hopefully one of us will get the pole in the next round.
Impressive through round 1 for sure.
The only problem for Brian Scott is Brendan Gaughan's in the 62. He has a 2, and Brian Scott's saying that aerodynamically doesn't work out for Brendan. So we'll see if he's able to make that pay off or not. He thinks those 3s have got something special in the draft here at Talladega.
Here comes a guy that'll be a contender as well. Maybe a favorite. Casey Kane, talking to him yesterday, and he's really pumped up about running this race. He said, I wanted to run this race, and my strategy is I'm going to lead every lap. I want to be out front. I want to be the man they have to come and get if they're going to win this race. And he has the equipment, the team there, obviously. Been to victory lane already a couple times this year. This team can get him there.
And he won the July race in Daytona in the Xfinity Series, and right now he's not going to be starting at the very front. He's going to have some RCR cars up there, I think, but it won't take him long to get there.
Well, and if he does lead every lap, it's going to be a heck of a first lap. He's going to have to really go. It's got to be serious when they throw the green flag.
See, the tracker is comparing Casey to the fastest time of the session, that being Austin Dillon, who continues to be the only driver to go under 53 seconds. See what Casey Kane does here as he takes it down to the start-finish line. 13th. He will not advance to round 2 today. Starting to put the pieces to this qualifying puzzle together for the NASCAR Xfinity Series here at Talladega. Most recent driver to complete his run, Chris Cockrum, who right now has scored 30th of the 35 drivers that have been out. And here's Joey Logano tracking against Austin Dillon, who's got the quickest time of the session.
I was talking to crew chief Greg Irwin yesterday for Joey Logano, and he did want to mention that their pit crew coach Brian Helen lost his father this week, and so all their thoughts and prayers are certainly with Brian and his family. But it's going to be a pretty fast car. Let's see if Joey can make it into the second round, the round of 12 here.
I think he's going to barely squeeze in.
Eric Almirola been on the bubble for a while. And he's going to stay there because Joey Logano goes behind Almirola, 13th for that 22 car.
I think he's almost going to squeeze in.
You know, you were on a roll for a while. When you were getting like seconds and thirds and there were 8 cars out, I was like, that's pretty good. And then you hit a 10th, and I'm like, wow, that's really good. But you know, it's not been your average has fallen off here lately.
Give me a break. You only missed it by 1.
On board with Brennan Poole. And our tracker has now put him back to see how he's doing in relation to Eric Almirola, who continues on the bubble. And I'm going to tell you what I said. I didn't think he was going to advance, but he's hanging on tight to that final advance position.
You know, we talk about it a lot of places when the Xfinity qualifying, how you hold back a little bit in that first round because you know we have to run 3 rounds. Well, Michael, I don't think there's any way here any of these guys are holding back anything. So what we see here in this first round is going to be pretty indicative of what we're going to see in the round of 12. But when you have a lot of cars separated by just thousandths of a second, that could certainly change some things in this second round.
Yeah, you know, some of those engines might like to run with just a little bit more heat in them. Some of the cars might like the tires heated up a bit. So when you're talking just thousands, like you said, Phil, you know, any factor could change the outcome of this qualifying session.
17th for Brennan Poole. And I'm going to go ahead and send out the red alert to Eric Almirola. You should be concerned now because here's Eric Jones and his teammates so far. Boris said 4th, Daniel Suarez 6th. If that's any indication, Eric Jones should be able to jump up inside the top 10 and have an opportunity to advance to round 2.
I'll make a bit of a prediction now. he is going to bump Eric Almirola out of the top 12.
That's bold, Phil. Yeah. I'm going to make another prediction.
I was going to say, you got a number?
the car that's rolling out behind him is going to bump up even further. This is a good run for Jones.
Yes, it is. Remember, his teammate, Boris Said, is fourth right now at a 53.32. I'm not sure that Eric is going to get there, but he may be with his other teammate, Suarez, who ran a 53.53.
Up inside the top 5.
P5 right now.
Yeah, right in between his teammates. Boris Said is fourth. Now Eric Jones fifth, and Suarez is seventh.
And Jones won a 53.393.
Here comes Brendan Gaughan, the fourth of the RCR ECR powered Chevrolet Camaros.
No pressure on him. His 3 teammates are top 3 right now.
That was not a good get up to speed lap for Brendan Gaughan, though.
No, it wasn't, and he's already 0.2 of a second off of Dylan's fast time.
Now we switched the tracker to see how he's doing compared to Chase Elliott, who, after Eric Jones clocked into the top 12, is on the bubble, and Gaughan right now looks good as far as being able to get into the top 12, but certainly not running a lap anywhere near that of his teammates.
And I think if his guys are paying attention, and I know they are, Shane Wilson may say, hey, we were really off on our get up to speed lap here. What do you think we need to do differently maybe in this next round of 12 if he's able to advance, which I think he probably will be able to advance into this next round. Let's see where he slots in here.
He's going to get about 10th. Boom, I'm back, Adam.
You nailed it. You're back in your groove. Let's go to Vince.
With Dakota Armstrong, who is that man sitting on the bubble right now as far as the top 12, but has run here well on the restrictor plate races. Top 20 last year, you were 11th at Daytona. Good comfort level with the plate racing?
Yeah, I've had good luck in the past, in the Truck Series and even ARCA. So Talladega's been pretty good to us. Right now I'm pretty happy with the speed we had. I didn't think we had that kind of speed in practice, so picked up a good chunk there. So our Winfield 43 drafted pretty good. I guess that's really all that matters. And if we make it top 12, that's great. If not, we'll race our way up there. So pretty happy with all the guys' work.
Yeah, look forward to that tonight, the 43, Dakota Armstrong.
We had one Ford earlier, Vince, that sat in the bubble position for quite a while and was able to hang on before being knocked out. That's Eric Almirola, who's currently 14th. We'll see how Dakota Armstrong does sitting in the 12th position. And look at Derek Cope, who is out and making his run, the 40th of 45 drivers to qualify here in our first round at Talladega.
Derek's going to complete his lap here. Again, he's shooting for the top 33, only 39th fastest for Derek Cope.
Only able to outrun one car, Phil, so.
Here's an interesting guy to watch, Regan Smith, who's one of the greatest when it comes to this format of racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. You look at his teammates, Casey Kane 16th and Chase Elliott 13th, so both of them know they will not advance to round 2. We'll see if Regan Smith has anything as he heads down that long back straightaway here at Talladega. And right now he's in the red in comparison to the guy that sits on the bubble, that being Dakota Armstrong.
How cool does it feel just to pull out there and put that baby on the floorboard and
don't even think about cracking that throttle.
We're just going to see how fast we can go. And
look at this. Look at this. How tight can it be? He's 7, 8 tenths, or
he's going to the
thousandths of a second.
Watch that ticker.
To the good.
Looks like it helped a little bit, Michael.
Oh, yeah.
Now you're confusing me, Phil.
And then back on the racetrack.
11th right now.
I don't know.
Chris Buescher, the new man on the bubble here at Talladega. Cars remain in the opening round of qualifying for the NASCAR Xfinity Series here at Talladega. And the 14 of Cale Conley went while we were away. You can put him at 26th in round 1, 37th for Mike Harmon in the 74. On track now and up to speed, Jeff Green, who has an Xfinity Series championship on his resume, 52 years old, from Owensboro, Kentucky, one of the great hotbeds of NASCAR racing. Produced a Hall of Famer and a guy that's won a couple of Daytona 500s.
And he's actually standing to my right.
He's right here.
He's smiling, too.
It feels good when people say good things about you, right?
Yeah, you grow up in Kentucky and you wind up with a couple of Daytona 500 trophies. That's a good.
It's pretty darn good.
It's a good run.
I was impressed when you won those Daytona 500s. I mean, not as impressed as I was today when you were predicting where these drivers were going to run in qualifying, which was pretty amazing.
Jeff Green, he's able to make that top 33.
Yeah, absolutely.
Final car opening round, Peyton Sellers. Top 12 advance. Move on to run for the pole. We'll determine the drivers that will go home. There will be 5 of those, and set the lineup from 13th on back after Peyton Sellers completes his run.
My question right now is Brennan gone? He's 10th, so he's going to make it. This is the final car, as you mentioned, Peyton Sellers. Did he hold anything back? And maybe has a little bit left for that second round?
Remember I talked about how energetic and how fun Brennan is to be around? You can't tell him to hold anything back. He doesn't know how to do that. He went out there and ran as fast as he can. Only thing you could figure is maybe the team, since it went fairly late, maybe they took a little bit of tape off, and so that the engine temperature could run more conservatively in that round and get a little more aggressive next round. Who knows? But it is interesting that he's that far off of his fast 3 teammates.
He's got a couple of teammates that are really fast. Brothers Dillon, Austin, and Ty, the 2 quickest in the opening round of qualifying. Chris Buescher stays on the bubble. We'll have round 2 on the way. 2 rounds of qualifying today for the NASCAR Xfinity Series here at Talladega. The first round is done. These 12 drivers move on to run for the pole in round 2 after our short 10-minute break.
Got a bunch of RCR cars, a bunch of Gibbs cars, a bunch of Roush Fenway cars.
Only one junior motorsports driver able to advance, and everyone else going to line up this way for race 9 later today.
Good job by Benny Gordon getting that car in. First start this year, 25th.
Our buddy Kenny Wallace up in the 22nd spot.
Here you see the 5 drivers that failed to qualify: Cockrum, Harmon, Gerhardt, Cope, and Contreras. Round 2 on the way. You're watching Xfinity Series qualifying live from Talladega on Fox Sports 1. Ready for round 2 qualifying for the NASCAR Xfinity Series here at Talladega Super Speedway. Before we put the cars back on track, let's hear from our pit reporters and start with Vince.
Well, Bubba Wallace in car 6 in position 6 through that first round, so well done there. What's the pros and cons from a driver's perspective of the draft qualifying versus the single car qualifying?
Well, I think the biggest thing you take away from draft qualifying is relying on everybody else. The single car stuff really puts it back in the team's hands and also the driver's hands of getting the shift points right and make sure you don't give anything up out on the racetrack. So I tried to do the best I could, and we ended up 6th. So we're happy with the pickup that we had from practice. We picked up about a 10th. So it's good. Our SpongeBob SquarePants Ford Mustang is fast, got some speed. We'll see what we got for this next round. I think the really exciting thing is that with NASCAR's new initiative of trying to get youth involved with the sport, SpongeBob looks good on our stuff. So should be an exciting Xfinity race this weekend.
Yeah, a lot of kids, young and old, rooting for Bubba Wallace this weekend. Jamie?
Another kid, Ryan Reed, his actual teammate, won at Daytona, brought that same car back, and you're happily surprised with the speed so far. Do you think you have a little bit more to get the pole in the second round?
I don't know. I don't think we have anything for the RCR cars. They're really fast, especially in single car runs. So, honestly, we're in the top 12, and I'm happy. Whatever happens here, I don't really care, honestly. We're going to be in the top 12, which is important, I think, having a good starting spot, but our car drafts really well. So we have a really fast Lily Diabetes Ford Mustang and race trim, and I'd like to see what we could do here, maybe get a top 5, but like I said, the RCR cars are fast, so I don't know if we got a shot at them.
You better watch for those Roush Fenway cars. They've been solid so far today. Adam?
And all 4 of them advancing to round 2. Going to be fun to watch the drama unfold. Drivers are getting loaded up. Round 2 on the way from Talladega. The dozen cars that advanced to round 2 of qualifying getting lined up here at Talladega. Just over a minute away before they hit the track. We'll find out who's on the pole. Let's go to Jamie Little.
Well, Chris Buescher has finished 2nd in 2 of his 3 restrictor plate races in his career, one time being here last year. Right now, you're on the bubble. You're the 12th and final position. You're going on to the next round. Anything you could do differently this time around?
Not really sure yet. We're just holding it wide open and hoping for the best. So, our bit of Honey Ford Mustang's pretty good. These guys have done a nice job. It's a different qualifying for Xfinity here this time around. So we're trying to figure out how to make our single car stuff a little better again. That's where we used to focus all the time, and now we're right back to it. So these guys have done a nice job. We made it in on the bubble, but hopefully we can go out here and get a couple spots out of this.
All right, all 4 Roush Fenway cars going on to the next round.
And Jamie, you talk about Chris and just advancing. He was the 12th quickest, and since we go slowest to fastest in round 2, he'll be the first car on track. But Michael, as we start to anticipate our race later today, I'm looking at some of the drivers that didn't advance, that have some ground to make up. Eric Almirola, Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, Casey Kane. I mean, there are some nice cars that are starting a little deeper in the field that it's going to be fun to watch later today.
And I'm going to keep my eye on Landon Castle. Top 10, Richmond, really good here at Talladega. He's going to be starting outside the top 30.
Yeah.
He'll be coming too.
Jeremy Clements back there in 40th. You mentioned him, Phil.
Yeah, a lot of strength throughout this field here. It's really anybody's race.
Here we go.
Round 2 underway. There goes Chris Buescher.
Slowest to fastest. The 12th place guy will go first. Obviously, the Dillons will go last.
And we'll do it just like we did in round 1. As Chris comes through the tri-oval on his get-up-to-speed lap, we'll fire the engine of the next car in line. And that will be Regan Smith, who was 11th in that opening round, and then he'll pull onto the track and so on.
Saw that stat. Chris has finished 2nd in 2 of his 3 starts in the Xfinity Series on restrictor plate tracks, so that's pretty darn good.
Well, and you think about the misfortune for him a year ago at Daytona in the season opener. You know, that team didn't even get a chance to compete because the rains came, didn't have the owner's points. It's good to see them bounce back from that, have the year they did a season ago, able to get to victory lane on the road course last summer, and now here he is, one of our title contenders in 2015.
And what fun he is just to watch drive. He gets that car all hung out and really goes for it every lap of the race, and he's a real joy to watch wheel one of these things.
Oh, by the way, Bit of Honey is the sponsor this weekend for the 60, and you were talking about how you were craving that. You had to go down for Sprint Cup practice yesterday, but he did an interview offering up a full bowl for you. So if you make your way down to the Xfinity garage sometime today, we got some candy waiting on you, Michael.
I love what you're saying right now, and I talked about how fun he is to watch drive, how fun is Bit of Honey. I mean, you got to have some of that stuff.
That was a great get-up-to-speed lap, too, for Chris Buescher.
Yeah, we saw it on the screen there. He ran a 59.97. Getting up to speed, that's just about as good as we've seen today.
Are they starting a little farther back now than they were before? So
yeah,
that may account for why that lap was a lot faster than his get-up-to-speed lap before.
Yeah, and that's for the folks watching at home that try to understand this. See Buescher going off the road there onto the apron. Regan Smith high on the racetrack. That's a great example. You put your car where it belongs situationally. He's winding up to come to the green. That puts him on the high side. Buescher was ducking to the low side to complete his lap.
53.79 for Chris Buescher. In the opening round, he ran a 53.68.
Within a tenth of a second. I think I'm okay with that, Phil. What do you think?
I think so too. And I think that his get-up-to-speed lap being so fast was because they actually started earlier on pit road, so he had more speed built up when he got to the start-finish line off of pit road.
But I mean, it's not that much distance, a couple of 100 yards maybe, and it's amazing to me that it makes that much of a difference.
I think that was my point, Adam. That couple 100 yards can make almost a second of difference because of getting these things wound up. The line that these guys run, it's on purpose. Everything they do is for a reason. You want to be down low like we see Smith here running on his timed lap where we saw him coming up to speed way up high on the track. So the guys are doing everything within their power and within the rules to get the fastest lap they can.
See Regan tracking a little bit faster than Chris Buescher. He's going to go off on the apron as well.
See, he's 9/10 faster.
He goes to the top, 53.690 for Regan Smith in that Hellman Chevrolet.
These speeds are really repeating. He ran a 66 in that first round and a 69 here in the second round.
Here's a guy that hopes the speed doesn't repeat exactly. Brendan Gaughan's got his 3 teammates 1 through 3, and he was back in 10th. So see if he can find some speed. Shane Wilson and those boys make enough of an adjustment to make a difference in Brendan's time.
Now into those drivers that were top 10 in the opening round of qualifying. Brendan Gaughan was 10th in round 1. And in theory, each driver will outdo the one before them because, as we pointed out, you're going slowest to fastest, but it doesn't always work out that way.
I'm going to predict that's not going to happen because we had so many guys that were right on top of each other within thousandths of a second. I think we're going to have a little bit of movement.
The closest between one driver and another, I think, in that opening round, 5 1,000ths of a second of those guys that advanced. Is that right?
I think so.
Brendan Gaughan in the green, an indication that he is tracking faster than Regan Smith, who currently finds himself at the top of the board. Gaughan goes with a 53.617, and in the opening round he ran a 53.59, so a bit slower there.
I'm going to say that must be about as fast as that car's.
I bet so. Adam, a bit slower. It's 2/100ths of a second, Adam.
Well,
2/100ths of a second.
I would call that a bit slower. I didn't say a dramatic slowdown from round one.
Elliott Sadler, winner here a year ago. Going to have a great starting position. Be one of the favorites to win again this afternoon.
I've received some help that said he wasn't a bit slower. He was a tad slower.
A tad slower. There you go.
Round 2 to round 1.
Marginally?
Round 1 to round 2, I should say.
Maybe.
Now, so far, it's all worked out, and the order has stayed the same as far as where they ran in round 1 in comparison with round 2. But Elliott Sadler now in the red. He could become our first driver to lose a position, if you will, that was able to advance to the Fast 12.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's not going to be as fast as Brendan Gaughan here. He may slot in second. That's where it looks like he's going to be tracking.
Second indeed. A 53.68 for Elliott Sadler. I'll just say he was slower than he was in the opening round. Is that okay?
No adjective, just slower.
Here comes Ryan Reed. Let's watch his hands, or let's look out the top of his car. I like doing both. Either one's fine by me. Right to the bottom of the racetrack, you can see that how important it is to follow that yellow line.
See the tracker going the right way, going to turn into the green here.
Just look how smooth he tries to hold that wheel. He's just going to make the slightest adjustments. He's going right down the back straightaway now, and as he falls into turn 3, just a tweak to the wheel gets it around the bottom of the racetrack. He doesn't want to turn right. He just likes to keep it as steady as possible, but you've got to make some adjustments there, and those are very minute. That's a great job by that young man.
Pretty high level of concentration, I would guess.
Well, you're trying to be perfect. You're looking for perfection.
Look at the tracker. I mean, it can't get any closer, can it? Brendan Gaughan is quickest. Ryan Reed goes second by 4 1,000ths of a second.
Then Brendan's done well. Brendan's already beat a couple cars that had beat him in the first round. Daniel Suarez.
First driver from the Joe Gibbs Racing Stables comes into the weekend 10th in Xfinity Series points, leads the rookie chase, career best second at Bristol, Michael.
I think we ought to require all drivers to wear gloves like Daniels. That bright yellow, we can watch those hand movements. When we're at Talladega later on today in this race, these guys are going to be all over the place trying to make moves. And we got a great view of his hands inside the car, but if they all had to wear those colored gloves, we could look from the outside in, and the fans could see what all is going on behind the wheel of these cars.
He's got a great lap going, huh?
Yeah, and look how little movement, like Michael was talking about, so little movement with that steering wheel. That'll change this afternoon, by the way. But
yeah, do you remember Daniel's hands at Daytona when he came off turn 4 and got turned around in front? I mean, he was all over the place, and that's what you're going to see this afternoon.
See that right hand.
There's those gloves. Let's make that a requirement, Phil.
Halfway through round 2 of qualifying, we have a new leader. Daniel Suarez to the top, 53.481 for the 18, and that is quicker than what he ran.
That's quicker than what he ran in the first round. Good job by Suarez.
Darrell Wallace Jr. takes the green flag, and this will complete the cycle for the Roush Fenway organization. All 4 of Jack's cars advancing to our second round of qualifying today here at Talladega. And a reminder, this same format will be put in place for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series later today as they get set for tomorrow's Geico 500. You can watch it live on Fox. It happens at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, followed by live race coverage of the 9th race of the year for these Xfinity Series cars. It comes your way at 2:30 Eastern on Fox.
See, Bubba's about a little bit over a tenth off of Suarez's time up to this point on the racetrack, and I think that'll continue. So Suarez is going to end up beating a car that had beaten him in that first round, so he overachieved.
Third for Darrell Wallace Jr. So the lineup: Daniel Suarez, Brendan Gaughan, Darrell Wallace Jr., Ryan Reed, Elliott Sadler, Regan Smith, and Chris Buescher. 7 cars have taken time in the second round of qualifying. 12 drivers advanced. Here's number 8 to go on the clock, Eric Jones in the 20 car.
Do you think the Roush Fenway organization's cars are pretty close?
I'd say they're pretty close.
Bubba Wallace, Ryan Reed, do you think their cars are pretty close? Exact same time.
53.621 for both of them.
To the thousandth of a second.
And that's 2.66 miles of running the exact same speed.
Well, and Eric Jones, speaking of running what your teammate ran, right now tracking in line just a tick in front of Daniel Suarez, his teammate.
Yeah, a couple tenths of a second on his get up a speed lap faster than Suarez.
But now
did you see the sparks? The car was dragging the racetrack over there in 3 and 4.
He's going to duck down off the track, hit the apron, see if he can grow that advantage over his teammate.
This 20 team going for their 5th consecutive pole position in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and right now they are the fastest of the bunch. Eric Jones, 53.403 seconds.
Here comes another one of those JGR, Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas.
Was 4th quickest in that first round. He ran a 53.32.
Tracking right on top of his teammate who beat the other teammate, Daniel Suarez, by less than a tenth of a second.
And after Boris finishes, we'll have 3 teammates to go to finish us out, all of them from the Richard Childress Racing stables.
The ticker can't make up its mind whether it wants to be red or green, can it?
A lot of back and forth.
Got something he's building on there now, Phil. We're talking
a hundredth of a second now.
We were a solid 9,000ths when we entered that corner. Now we're all the way up to a hundredth.
Back down in the thousands in the red.
He stayed on the racetrack.
Be quiet,
Eric
Phil.
Jones stays P1. Boris Said goes to 2nd. Right behind him, Daniel Suarez. And now we look. Yeah, the difference, 1,000th between Eric Jones and Boris Said.
Now, he was tracking in the green till he got to the tri-oval. He did not go down on the apron. He stayed on the racetrack, and he lost a little bit of ground. Does that change your mind for your qualifying coming up here?
Well, he got beat by 1,000th of a second. I know what you're saying. He had maybe 100th in the bank. I just think if you hit that apron perfectly, maybe you could gain a little bit, but you got to balance the risk versus reward. If you get down there and hit a bump and don't do it properly, could lose some. I don't know. I won't know till I come off turn 4. Look at this car.
.53.21 is what Brian ran in the first round. I don't think he's going to get that fast, but he's going to be fast enough to knock Eric Jones off the top spot.
Yes.
About a tenth of a second off what he ran in that first round, but still enough to go to the top of the board.
So we had Joe Gibbs Racing 1, 2, 3. And now the question becomes, will we have Richard Childress Racing 1, 2, 3? Brian Scott to the top, and here comes the man who was 2nd quick in the opening round. That's Ty Dillon.
Yeah, and this car just looks amazing. The way it comes up to speed, that was a really fast opening lap. He obviously knows the line to run right around the bottom of the track there in turns 1 and 2, and he's banked a solid 100th of a second over the competition as he races down the back straightaway.
He was in the red till they got halfway down the straightaway, and you never know when wind or something like that. You get a bit of a gust of wind, even though the winds are pretty calm today. You get just a little bit of a gust of wind, a little headwind down the backstretch, and that could change things. But he looks solid now. He's a half a tenth of the good.
Let's see where he goes.
And he's gaining on it.
Staying on the road. Keeping that Richard Childress Racing Chevy up on the banking.
P1 for Ty Dillon. Jumps in front of his teammate. And here we go with the older brother, Austin Dillon, who was quickest in the opening round of qualifying earlier today. The only driver so far this weekend for the Xfinity Series, at least in this qualifying format, to go under 53 seconds. We'll see if he can do it here, and if he does, he will be on the pole.
An amazing get up to speed lap for Austin Dillon. Very, very fast.
Well, that speed is carried over because you can see he's in the green.
We saw it took Ty Dillon about a half a lap to get over in the green, but Austin started out in the green. Going in 3 here, he's going to have a 10th in the bank.
What I love most about this, Phil, is we're seeing who brought the fastest cars to Talladega in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Now we're going to see what drivers can make up for that deficit they have in speed and single car runs and use the air and use the draft to win this race this afternoon.
A 10th of a second equals a yard, I think, so that puts him a good solid 3 feet in front of his teammate and brother Ty Dillon. Is that how you equate that? Here he is.
A second's a football field, right?
On the pole, Austin Dillon. Top 5, Ty Dillon is second, Brian Scott third, Eric Jones fourth, and Boris Said qualifies in the 5th position, making his debut in 2015.
I won my friendly wager with Mike Dillon. 3 of those 4 RCR cars in the first 3 spots.
So here's the front row for today's race. We will see you for race coverage, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's over on Fox.
Viewers might as well stand up now. They're going to be standing on their feet this entire race.
Absolutely. So they did it in qualifying. Can they do it in the race? We'll see you a bit later on. We're sending it to Charlotte after a break. It's NASCAR Race Up. You'll hear from the pole sitter there. Thanks for being with us from Talladega.